the essence of what cashing in Money in the Bank is. And a heel doing so. And Seth remained a heel after that. You could tell there was a babyface in there. But him cashing in the way he did, and go watch the Roman's family in the front row is pissed. Bringing us to number 2. If you ask me on the right day, this is number 1. I've gone back and forth on this. If it's 1 and 1A, that's fine. I'm going to put it at number 2. And I do it because of what happened after. And maybe that's not fair, but I'm going to stick with that. I'm trying to find ways to divide 1 and 2. Number 2, I was in the building. Number 2 takes us back to 2013, 11 years ago. The night after an extremely underwhelming WrestleMania. The first WrestleMania that I attended, amazingly, it took me 29 attempts to get there. I almost went to Seattle in 2003. Family said, you're not flying out to Seattle by myself. All right, fine. That would have been WrestleMania 19. I almost was in the building for Kurt and Brock Lesnar. But I was in the building for WrestleMania 29, and I paid way too much money to sit on the floor for a show that had one good match. Punk and Taker. Fantastic. Living color. I remember the night before, 2 nights before, at the time, I had a lot of friends in TNA, and I was sitting in the TNA locker room. They had run a show in New York. And it wasn't a big house show, but basically the locker room was like Bubba and Kurt Angle and Abyss, and we're all sitting around talking about it, and A Living Color had been announced. And Bubba said, he goes, I think they might do it. I said, what? He goes, I think they might have Punk beat Taker. And I was all for it. I was a big Punk fan going back to Ring of Honor and Indie days. And I was like, wow, I'm going to be there for that. That would be awesome. And I thought it kind of made sense. See what happened 1 year later with Brock Lesnar at 30, right after the network debuted. But I remember going, oh, I would love Punk to. And remember, Punk got the match with Taker because he had that match with Cena where he did the pile drive. And he got in trouble for it. But Punk was the champ to start the year. And he lost to Rock at Rumble. And then he lost again. And they did Rock Cena too. And Rock tore up all his abductors. That awful, ugly match. The Miami match was certainly better. And that was that weird passing of the torch moment, even though Cena had already been champ. Remember, like, this still. Cena beats Big Show at WrestleMania 20 for the U.S. title. At WrestleMania 21, he wins the undisputed title from JBL, the WWE Championship. 8 years later, they try to tell us it's a passing of the torch moment with Rock doing the thing to Cena. Cena had been champ on and off for 8 years at that point. This was not like, well, he's a new guy and here's his big, no. And that's how they sold it. That was that WrestleMania 29. It's that Brock Triple H match. It's Mark Henry and Ryback and Fandango and Jericho, and they throw Randy, Sheamus, and Big Show together to lose to the Shield. Oof. So the next night, and then the Swagger Del Rio match. This is where I'm getting to. Everybody's Del Rio was the baby face because Swagger and Dutch Zeb were like weird. Like they went to, what they go to Glenn Beck or whatever it was, and all that. Get them out of the country, like stuff that would not play today, or maybe it would, sadly enough. And Del Rio was Mexican, so there's the way to make him a baby face. And the whole time, this is right after Swagger got DUI or DWI, and they didn't really do anything to him, and he stayed on the card. And Swagger and Del Rio have a world title match that nobody cared about. And the whole time they're chanting for Ziggler. The whole time. then they had the match with, Big E made his debut at Mania, and they went up against Team Hell No, and just nobody cared. Nobody cared. So the next night on Raw, they do it again. And they do, I think they did Zeb and Swagger against Del Rio, and Del Rio won. And Del Rio is hurt. And that crowd, that was a special crowd. That was, and I don't think they've hit this in a while. The post-Mania Raw crowd. Now, the story was that Rock was supposed to appear on that Raw, but he got hurt, so they pulled him off. And that's the show that closes with Ryback and Cena starting their feud, even though Ryback had lost to Mark Henry the night before. Very odd. And that's when Cena does the heel turn thing with his foot. Oof. But that crowd, they crap on that Sheamus Big Show match. Oh, they're chanting everything. But Del Rio's down, and they take that shot in the front corner of the ring. And he's down, and he's getting worked on. And everybody, there's a buzz that comes in the arena. You can feel it. And I remember, I was like, that's one of the best crowds I've been a part of. Wrestling, sports, Super Bowls, championship game, you name it. I've been lucky to go to a lot of stuff. That's an all-time crowd to be a part of. And they take that shot of Del Rio. And you feel it. And Ziggler's music hits. And the place comes unglued. And JBL, we're about to have a new world champion tonight. Whoa, 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 whoa. You hear all that stuff. And he comes out, and he's got E, and he's got AJ, and he gets in there, and he is yelling. I mean, he is yelling about all of this. Gets in there, and they go on to have the best 4-minute match of all time. I've talked to him about this. He'll tell you the same. He said what I said, because I that was a save until delete on the DVR for a while. And it's a great 4-minute match, and he gets out of that ankle, and as soon as he twists the ankle out, because Del Rio's hurt, you knew it. Boom. Zigzag 1, and the place goes to say banana. And Michael Cole, very simple but emphatic call. Dolph Ziggler has cashed in Money in the Bank, and Ziggler is yelling. And he's on SmackDown later that week, and he has no voice. And then, unfortunately, he gets hurt, and they flip-flop him and Del Rio, and they do the Payback show in Chicago where Pump comes back against Jericho and all that, and it just never happened. And that's what separates that from number one. And I'm going to put number one up here right now. Number one is Rob Van Dam cashing in at John Cena at One Night Stand 2 in 2006. RVD had won Money in the Bank, and he called his shot well in advance. Well in advance. In the Hammerstein Ballroom. The anti-John Cena. I was in college at the time, and I remember I had a pay-per due, and I put it off, and I bought the pay-per-view, and I was watching, and I couldn't wait just for that, because I was a huge RVD fan going back to ACW days, pre-WW, all RVD and Jerry Lynn, RVD's TV title run, all of that. So good. And when he called the shot and said, we're doing it in Hammerstein, we're doing it One Night Stand 2, because RVD missed the first one because he was hurt. Even though it was his idea, he missed it. And Cena, to his credit, and I know he loves this, walks out. The heel, the hated. If Cena wins, we riot. Throwing the shirt back in, a longtime fan. Vlad's there. I mean, it is, you could not walk into a more angry, visceral, fired up crowd that wanted to see John Cena lose and RVD win. And he had the ECW fans, and they had a great match. And there's the ref bump, and there's the Edge run-in, and there's no ref. And what happens? Paul Heyman comes out. 1, 2, 3. He wins. Joey Styles doesn't know what to say, but it happened. And of course, RVD would be WWE and ECW champ. And then that literally went up in smoke because him and Sabu got pulled over for weed on the highway. Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the Wrestling Mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette. And
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partners. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.